This is chapter 12-3, just to kind of give you an idea of what we've done so far. In chapter 12, we have posted to an accounts payable ledger. And this was, first of all, in chapter 12-1, we did this from a purchases journal. In chapter 12-2, what we did is we took a cash payments journal and a general journal, and we posted this to the accounts payable ledger. Okay, so far we've taken the 3 out of the 5 journals that we've learned about in chapters 10 and 11, and we've posted it now to, again, the accounts payable ledger. And accounts payable is we owe people money for either merchandise that we've purchased on account or supplies that we've purchased on account, or maybe we're paying them back, and that would be from the cash payments journal. So 12-3, what we're going to do, I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit. We're actually going to take entries from the sales journal, and we're going to post it to an accounts receivable. Okay, and this is going to be from a sales journal. So this is the 4th out of the 5 journals, and again, accounts receivable means that somebody owes us money. They've purchased something from us on account, hence it's recorded in the sales journal, and we need to record those transactions and post them to the individual accounts receivable ledger. So again, we have an accounts payable ledger, and the controlling account is this, where we have the individual companies that owe us money, accounts receivable. So each of these accounts has their own personal ledger, and you notice that there's a number sequence that goes along with this as well: 140, 130, 120, 110. And the total amounts of all of these subsidiary ledgers, which is this right here, is going to go in the main controlling accounts receivable account. Okay, so again, these are just subsidiary accounts. Very simple. This is what an accounts receivable ledger looks like. You have the customer name, you have the customer number. Again, they're customers to us. Let's move on. That's how you open an account ledger, or an accounts receivable ledger account. So if it's a 0 balance, this is what it's going to look like. From the sales journal, and I am on page 285, 12-3, page 285. This takes you through step by step. So if this is my sales journal, okay, and we see that we have an accounts receivable here. So we've sold merchandise on account to Children's Paradise. We're going to first take the date, put that down into the ledger account. We may or may not have a balance here. Looks like we do have a balance. And accounts receivable, which is an asset account, always carries a normal debit balance. So we're going to write the date of the transaction, the post reference number, which proves that we're posting it to this ledger, S sales page 11. It's going to go right here. The debit amount, which again is the total amount of the sale, the total amount of what they owe us. And how we get that is we take the sale of merchandise, times it by whatever the sales tax is, which is this amount. So these two together, this is what the total amount of money that they owe us. So that's the third thing. We're going to put this in the debit amount side. We don't need to worry about these two amounts. It's just coming from the accounts receivable debit side, because again, this is the accounts receivable ledger. It's going to go here. We're going to add to the balance because they now owe us this amount of money. All right, debit balance for this means that they owe us this amount of money. It is an asset. We will receive it at some point. When they pay us back, it's going to be recorded in the credit, and then we would subtract from our balance. pretty much that is it. I want to go over the work together with you on page 286. Excuse me. It says to, in the working papers which you receive, you see the sales journal, page 10. And you have the date of whatever month on the 20th, Maria Farrell. And it wants you to start a new accounts receivable ledger for Maria Farrell. The account number is 120. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put 120. That's the account number. Customer name is Maria Farrell. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit for you. There we go. Okay, customer name is Maria Farrell. And again, when you're doing this online, you might want to maybe consider bolding this or making it a little bit bigger. Same thing here, so that it pops out at us. Okay, or maybe even highlight it. Make it a different color or something. Okay, the date is, it tells us to use October 1st, and there is a balance. So we're going to put 10/1. Actually, I'm going to do this. October 2014, and the first we're going to put our balance here. Now again, post reference, we don't put anything in the post reference box of the calendar or of the balance. So you can either put a big X. What I would suggest doing is maybe just filling it black. That way we know. And it says the debit balance is already $212. If these cells are not already formatted, we're going to format them here by choosing the $sign. Okay. For the transaction that you see on the Work Together 12-3, it says that accounts receivable of $576.64. So this is on the 20th. It's coming from Sales Journal 10. Sales Journal page 10. The amount is $576.64. Let's just go ahead and format all of these cells to the accounting format. How we can do this, a real simple function is if we hit equal sign, tap that cell, hit the plus sign, click this cell, it'll add them up for us. Again, if you don't remember this from previous lessons, is if you come down, notice that your mouse turns, you have a crosshair that's kind of thick. You come down to the very corner, you barely see it. You can drag this down, and the formula will carry along with it. So any number that I put in here now, it'll change the total. Okay, so and then this is fine that our balances continued on like this. This is it. This is Work Together for 12-3. For 12-3. What I would like for you to do is I want you to fill this out in the working papers and turn this in by the end of the hour.